All right, we are live, everybody. Let's see who's awake tonight. Happy Michael Myers Monday, everybody. Apologize for running just a few minutes behind 10:31 p.m., but it is Monday night, February 22nd, 2021. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. I see we've already got a few friends up in the house tonight with Ken and Byron and Phil. Great to see you guys. Thank you for joining me tonight. We're gonna have a fun evening. I believe, I think, I hope. And if you're new here, I'm Matt, Halloween Daily News. I'm the owner and editor in chief. This is our weekly live chat and broadcast here to connect with the Halloween franchise fans and go over the weekend Myers news and just geek out on all things Michael Myers. So, how's everybody doing this week? David Suber, what's up, man? Thank you for being here. Hey, Dave, and I want to thank you, man, because for your purchase last week, Dave bought all three of our Halloween franchise wall decor sets that we've got listed on our online store, and hopefully that shipment arrived to you safely, Dave. And I did throw in a little something extra in there for you. I hope you got that. But thank you, man. Thank you so much. And I hope you're enjoying those wall decor sets. As people are starting to filter in and join us here, I'm gonna be doing just a brief little show and tell of a couple more restocks. Last week we talked about some of the new masks and products that we've got back in stock at our online shop, and I'm about to show off a few of those, including the Halloween 3 and 4 wall decor cutouts. So good, good. Thank you, Dave. Yes, I'm glad you found that. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, of course, we appreciate the support, the business, and everything. And but I do love these cutout sets, and I'll just go ahead and get into this now. Here is one of the sets, and Dave can attest. But this is the Halloween 3 set. Now, this is 4 pieces. It retails for $10 plus shipping, and it's 4 static pieces. There's not a posable one like in the Halloween 78 set. Now, of course, that's 6 pieces, including the posable Myers that I showed off last week. This is the Halloween 4 set, but I just want you to see the dimensions, and I'll show you a better look at each of the pieces included in there. But it's kind of a variation on the theme, and then you can see it's got the 3 trick-or-treaters, kind of a cartoonized version of the big 3 masks. And just to so you can see the size. I did not measure this time, but it's a little over a foot tall, and the other pieces are all about this same height and width. And I will show you those other pieces. There they are. Like I said, this is a 4 set. It's only $10 for the set of 4 pieces, and these are made on heavy duty card, and they, as we talked about last week, they are meant to resemble the retro Bystol cutouts that we all grew up with, the posable skeletons, and you see stuff like that at the Dollar Tree nowadays, but this is actually much better high quality, and obviously the artistry is amazing and speaks for itself. All of these Halloween franchise cutouts, including the Halloween 78 set of 6 that I showed you last week, and this Halloween 3 Season of the Witch set, they're all done. The artist's name is Marty McEwen. And yeah, so that's the Halloween 3 Season of the Witch officially licensed wall decor set. Again, you can see right there, you've got that cover, that poster image, and then one static image of each of the 3 trick-or-treaters wearing each of the 3 Silver Shamrock masks that you can see there. All right, let me come back over here. Also, back in stock, we had these for a very limited time. It was last year, but not very long. I want to say maybe not even since like 2019, possibly. These went really fast. And again, I break out these packages because I want you to see the dimensions. These things are huge. Again, probably um, about 14 inches high. There's the packaging, of course, poster image, and on the back of each of these card backs is the images included, including this one right here, classic shot from H4 of Michael Myers. There you go. See the H4 mask there, and I will show you now the other three that come included in this set. Just like the Halloween 3, it's 4. There's not a posable figure included in this one, but they are all 4 static, and it's only $10 for the 4 of them. And we don't have a whole lot, but we do have a few more in stock. And that is at HalloweenDailyNews.com/shop. And if you remember last week, I showed you. I'll actually grab it right now and pull out one of these for you. We've also got the Halloween 1978 set, which is $12, but it actually includes 6 pieces. And here's one of my favorites. They're all great. They're all super great. All of these particular ones are done by the artist Marty McEwen, like I said. There's another one included in the Halloween 78 set. I won't go through all of those this time. I do need to get those up on the wall, though. They are badass, you guys. Anyway, they're not going to last real long. But we do still have a few of each of those sets in stock right now. HalloweenDailyNews.com/shop. Another item, while I'm doing my opening show and tell here, another item that I actually just listed literally minutes ago. And we've never carried this before, but we now have our first Michael Myers keychains in stock. Again, all these products produced by Trick or Treat Studios. There you go. That is based on their Trick or Treat Studios' own Halloween 2 mask, which is one of the very first Trick or Treat Studios licenses ever made back in 2012. Again, fairly heavy duty. We've got to charge $8 for shipping because they do weigh a little bit. It's kind of heavy duty. But I love these things. And the mask, I mean, when I look at the mask, it almost looks a little more like the 2018. But it is supposed to be officially the Halloween 2. And I can see that as well, especially the Trick or Treat Studios version of the Halloween 2. So I literally just listed this, and I did put a link down in the description of this video already to the keychain and to those 2 sets, the Halloween 3 and 4. Everything else you can find links to at HalloweenDailyNews.com/shop. But the keychains are, again, only $12. And we do have to charge $8 shipping, but that's because, again, they got a little weight to them. We can't just slip them in an envelope like a letter. So there's a few new items. We've never had those keychains before, and we haven't had those wall decor sets for quite some time. So, and I'll just, in case anybody missed it last week, we've got the Halloween 78s back in stock. Spent more time with this guy last week. I won't spend much time with him right now, but we do have Halloween 1978 deluxe masks, as well as the alternate Halloween 1978 Boogeyman mask that you see over here from the end of the film. Excuse me. All of those are back in stock currently as of this recording, and I'll say, like I said last week, if you order one of the masks tonight, or we'll say before 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday. So within the next 24 hours, roughly, we'll throw in an extra treat. Or if you make an extra big purchase like Dave did last Monday, and then who knows, you might luck out and still get an extra treat. So, all right, thank you, Ken. Yeah, Ken says wicked keychain. Yeah, the keychain's pretty badass. Um, and you know, it's got the Halloween 2 mask. You can't go wrong with the Halloween 2. Um, the original Halloween 2, of course, 1981. I'm talking about, obviously. I think that goes without saying. And this is the 40th anniversary of Halloween 2 as well. So one more reason. Now, there's no real packaging to the keychain, you know, for the collectors. Like if you're gonna keep a card back or something, there is no card back. We'll ship them in. This is how they arrived to us. Small Ziploc. So, but it's durable. It's gonna last. You know, it's got heavy duty chain, and they're pretty badass and brand new for us. So I wanted to bring your attention to all those items. Hope everybody's doing good this week. All right. Yeah, see, Dave can confirm that if you grew up in the 70s and the 80s, they're just like those in the old days. Right, exactly. That's what it's all about. And they're beautiful. I mean, it's gorgeous art, but it's got that warm, retro feel that brings you back, like Dave said, to the 70s and 80s. That's what they're inspired by, the days of Ben Cooper, plastic masks and costumes, and Collegeville and Halco, and the Bystol decorations, which Bystol's still around, and they're re-releasing a lot of their classic retro stuff now as we speak, because it's so hot and awesome right now, because all of us that grew up with it have a soft spot for that retro feel. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Let me try to catch up on a couple of these comments here for just a second. Phil says, love the interview with James Jude Courtney. Hope to meet him someday at Days of the Dead or Flashback Weekend in Illinois. That's the state I live in. Yes, when you do get the opportunity to meet James Jude Courtney, you absolutely want to do that. And I'm going to be talking much more about that interview in just a few minutes. Again, I'm just giving everybody a few minutes to gather and join us in here. And I usually like to do a little show and tell. But thank you very much, Phil. I appreciate that a lot. It's just a little taste of the interview. There's lots more coming, and if it all goes well, I might be able to give you guys another little preview here tonight. But thank you very much, Phil. I do appreciate that. And yes, if you've not met James yet, he is. I'll get to that in just a minute. He's awesome. He's the best. Just a great guy. Let's see. Ken says, my friend Douglas has those. His YouTube channel is Drowned Ghoul Production. Okay. Excellent. I'll have to check them out. What's up, Byron? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Sammy, welcome back, Sammy. Good evening to you, sir. Happy Michael Myers Monday, everybody. I don't even know if I've taken a drink yet, but I'm going to have a drink now in honor of Michael Myers Monday. No, Byron, you not missed too much. Just going over some show and tells of some more restocks that we have in stock in our online store now. Yep, Dave missed Mad Monster, so wanted to go to a con, but have to wait. Yeah, Dave, we actually missed it as well this year. Mad Monster Party, of course, just happened this past weekend here in North Carolina. I do know a lot of people that went. From what I saw, it was very well run as far as as far as following the health safety protocols and everything. Everybody was masked up, one-way aisles, and all of the protocols. Limited attendance, obviously, was allowed, limited capacity. But we love Mad Monster Party. I've said it many times. It's our favorite annual event, period, that we look forward to. So to not be there this year really, really hurt us too, Dave. And I believe that's where we met. Was at Mad Monster Party, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, looking forward to being back there next year. We just couldn't make it happen this year, but we're definitely looking forward to getting back to conventions in general. All right, guys. So the we've got a few little news items we can talk about, but the big news here at HDN, Halloween Daily Headquarters, is of course that I had a somewhat exciting week because I interviewed James Jude Courtney. Since we last spoke last Wednesday or last Monday, it was last Wednesday when I actually interviewed James, and I think I told you guys I had some interviews coming up and some stuff that I think I probably might have spoiled who it was without saying his name, but yeah, it was James Jude Courtney. We did the interview. It was great. We had an awesome conversation. Um, you know, as you guys know, I'm a fan of this franchise. I'm a fan of the 2018 film. I'm a fan of James, but I also I feel extremely lucky that I kind of consider James an actual friend, and I feel like he feels the same way. And so even though we don't see each other a ton and we don't talk a ton, we have kept in contact ever since our very first interview, which was almost exactly 3 years ago. It was actually late February of 2018, so almost exactly. And that was right after they had wrapped filming of the 2018 film. And our very first conversation was over the phone, and it became an epic interview about his life and how his whole life had kind of brought him to that point in his career of becoming the new Michael Myers. And I felt privileged then, and still do, that in many ways that interview kind of introduced him to the fan base of the franchise in a lot of ways. And I love that. I just interviewed Nick actually at Mad Monster Party, naturally, just a few weeks before that. So it all just kind of came together, and that's one of the things he and I talked about in this most recent interview is um, the idea of synchronicity and how just everything kind of comes together every once in a while, um, you know, and it's synchronicity. So so the interview took place, and here's the plan. Hopefully, you guys um, saw the preview clip on the Halloween show. On this past Friday's episode of the Halloween show, we put out. It was basically like the first 7 or 8 minutes or so of our conversation. It was a Zoom interview this time, which was it's I'm still, as you guys, if you've been watching this for since last year, I'm still relatively new at being in front of the camera. I have made my living and made a career being behind the camera as a photographer and videographer and but I've been a journalist my whole life too. So to be in front of the camera and now to be doing interviews via Zoom. I mean, when it comes to this franchise specifically, I've interviewed, gosh, dozens of people involved in the 78 film and dozens more, probably over 50 or 60 from the entire franchise just over the years since Halloween Daily News launched in 2012. But all of those interviews were done either in person or via telephone. And so James was a first. My first interview as far as somebody for the Halloween franchise via video interview. And of course, we did it with Zoom. Uh, but it went great. It went awesome. And because of that, now I can present the interview uh, to you guys here on YouTube. And of course, in addition to at HalloweenDailyNews.com and everywhere else. But specifically, it's going to be video content, which I was very excited about. And when I started, I told you I've got a few other interviews lined up. Everything happens for a reason. And I just couldn't, once James and I had kind of set the date and time, and I just couldn't think of a better person to to kick it off, our new series of video interviews here at Halloween Daily News. Then James Jude Courtney, because we've talked, like I said, ever since our first interview 3 years ago. We've kept in contact. We've actually seen each other at a few conventions over the years. We've hung out a little bit after convention hours. Like I said, we've become friends, kind of long distance friends. And so we've talked many times about doing the follow up interview. And originally it was going to be last year before Halloween Kills, and then the delay happened and so forth. So, and there's, there's no time like the present. So, yeah, I'm super thrilled that it's James that kicks this new video series of interviews off for us here at Halloween Daily News, and I just think it's the perfect interview to kick it off. So what I did, because we've had to think about how to present this interview now. Traditionally, our interviews, the video interviews we have done at conventions have been relatively short. The more long form conversations I've had, a lot of that has been transcribed from audio only. So how to present this interview to you guys, to our readers, to our viewers, to our friends, to our supporters, and to fellow fans of this franchise specifically. So, excuse me. So we're going to use this, because again, James is kind of a special case anyway, but we're going to use this and see how this schedule works moving forward. But I'll tell you guys, because you're the live audience, you're the hardcore Myers fans of our audience here on YouTube. So yeah, hopefully you watched the Halloween episode, episode 19, the Halloween show, episode 19, which premiered on Friday, and hopefully you saw that clip. But what I'm going to try to do now, right now, is we're going to see if I can play a clip for you guys. Now, disclaimer, we might have technical issues. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because when I played the clip through the OBS studio earlier, I couldn't hear the audio, but it was registering, it was playing, it wasn't coming through my earphones. But I did a test recording. It came through on the recording. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to premiere a second clip from the interview. Okay? And I'm going to mute my mic during that, so you won't hear me and you won't see me, but you'll see the clip, and hopefully you'll hear the clip. If the clip is not playing, or if it's playing and there's no audio at all for you guys, or if there's any technical issues, please just let me know immediately, and I won't let it play all the way through. It's about 7.5 minutes. If it's going well, if I don't see any comments right away, I'll assume it's going well. But if you can't hear it or something, then we'll just come back and I'll just do my best to describe to you what he's saying, and you can watch it when the full official part 1 of the interview is released, which right now the plan is to release part 1 of the interview as a special event here on the YouTube channel and at HalloweenDailyNews.com this Wednesday. And then, again, following this format, it'll be a similar schedule for part 2 with a short clip premiered on this Friday's episode of the Halloween show, followed by, hopefully, I figure, another clip during next Monday's live broadcast, and then part 2 ultimately next Wednesday. But I'd love to hear you guys' opinion for all of that as far as the schedule and the presentation of the interview. Because I debated on whether, the part 1 and part 2 should be fully on episodes of the Halloween show. So and it might be more like that moving forward. But for this, that's the plan for this interview and how we're looking at putting it out there. The whole interview altogether, I don't know the official runtime. I'm still working on editing into that, actually, but I'm pretty much done. There's not a whole lot to edit other than all of my ums and uhs and you-knows, so to try to make it a few less of those, so you don't have to hear my stuttering quite as much. But so that'll be the plan. Okay. So right now I'm going to play this clip. and you guys let me know if it's working or not. And if it is, then in a few minutes, I'll come back after the clip and we'll talk a little bit more about what else is going on and a little bit more about what you can expect from the other parts of our conversation. So let's try this. Like I said, guys, you tell me if you can hear this and see this properly. But this is James and I, still very early in the interview, but this is us. Well, you'll see, but it's talking about James attending the premiere, the Hollywood premiere of the film 2018, and seeing it for the first time because he had not seen it when we met face to face for the very first time. It was at the 40 Years of Terror event in Halloween in Pasadena in 2018, and neither he or myself had seen the Halloween 2018 film yet. He would go on to go to the premiere in Hollywood with Nick Castle and see it for the first time there. So this is James Jude Courtney talking about that. And again, hopefully it's going to work. So let's try it out. Here we go, guys. If it's all right, let's go back a little bit to 2018. And we did our interview. Like I said, we saw you at 40 Years of Terror, and we were actually lucky enough to hang out with you a little bit after the convention. And then we went home back here to North Carolina, and you a few days later were at the world premiere, the Hollywood premiere of Halloween 2018, and I'm at home. I'm watching you and Nick. I'm watching you guys be interviewed, and like this is amazing. So can you? I know you talked about it before with other people, but can you, for our audience, just kind of give me a little bit of what you were feeling that night and what it was like for you to? Because if I'm not mistaken, that was the first time you had seen the finished film was at the premiere. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Well, first of all, I don't particularly care to watch my work. It's not why I do it. I'm a very in the moment person anyhow.
Yeah.
I don't really think about the future a whole lot, except as I need to plan. And, I mean, of course, like anybody does, but, and I don't dwell on the past a whole lot. So, for me, it's very experiential. So for instance, even making the film, I wouldn't go look at the monitors while I was working unless David Green called me over and Jimmy, come here, look at this. What do you think? Or like, I want you to see this, or, so then I can shut off the creative process in one part of my being and open it up on another more critical, analytical point, look at it from a critical point of view, think, okay, this is what we need to do. Boom. So, getting there for the, walking the red carpet, with Nick, and especially with Nick. Nick and I we immediately had a great friendship. I mean, it's like we're mothers from another brother. Awesome. And it's funny because he gave me this T-shirt in Charleston, Nick and Jim's barbecue, right? So he gives me this T-shirt, and it's like the Nick and Jim show. It's like
that's perfect.
So he and I were just riffing off each other and just having a blast, just like walking down the carpet, interview after interview after interview. It was so much fun, and we were just having the time of our lives. My date, beautiful young lady, was stuck in an airport in Bangkok. She couldn't make it.
Oh no!
So I ended up, and she was trying to, but it was it was a big storm, and the planes were grounded, and so she couldn't make it into LAX in time, and so I ended up, sitting alone, which was really kind of better because here's the deal. Like when I work, when I'm in front of a camera, whether it's a stunt, whether it's acting, and, for this was acting and stunts and a very, very deep role.
Yeah.
Seriously, I have zero stress and anxiety. If I could live in that place that I'm in, for instance, when I was playing, Michael Myers, when I'm playing The Shape and on Halloween and Halloween Kills, if I could exist in that place, the Dalai Lama would be calling me up for advice, man, because I'm in such a state of grace and peace. But when I have to sit in a theater and watch myself, dude, I'm sweating bullets. Like,
really,
I'm just covered in sweat. I mean, I'm just like, oh, I don't, because then I get really analytical and I start like,
sure.
And so it's not a flowing experience for me. Now, if I had to sit, or when I have, for instance, for Halloween Kills, sat, in with the editor, Tim Allison and David Green, and watched, and talked about scenes and stuff. I mean, then I go to my critical point, my analytical mind, and then that's another creative aspect. So that's easy. I can get outside of myself. But
Yeah.
sitting and watching the film, I mean, on one hand, it was beautiful because it was exciting, and I love the film, and I love everything that everybody did, and I was even more greatly pleased than I even thought I would be. I mean, just because, I mean, I knew what I was in for. I know how talented everybody was because I worked with them. But then you don't know until the end, because I knew Tim Albertson because I'd seen some things cut together, but I didn't know just how talented that guy is. I mean, and he starts editing from day one, and his rough cuts are almost the final cut. Wow. I mean, the dude he's such a brilliant editor. And in fact, I'm trying to I was in conversations with a European company to produce a film that I've written, which we've stepped back from because of COVID, especially because my film has tons and tons of extras. And I talked to Tim recently, and I was like, "Hey, man, so are you available to edit?" He goes, "Well, he's locked into a contract with Blumhouse, man. Those guys locked him up. They know how good he is." So that experience for me was, I mean, it was so unique and beautiful, and to be around, my Halloween family, and to see the audience response, because I mean, part of what I did was watch the audience. Sure. And to see their response was just amazing, man. Just amazing. I felt like the luckiest guy in the world.
Awesome. And I was going to ask also with the 2018 film, do you have a favorite scene from that film, either for whatever reason, for how it turned out from the outside, or just from performance aspect, or from the making of it? Do you have a favorite scene? Just curious.
I mean, I do, there's certain things that were especially fun to shoot. The bathroom scene, I mean, that was just so much fun to shoot. That was just, and especially because, there were stunt doubles, and then, Rhiannon and Bob were and especially Bob was not so keen on doing it. But then, once we started into rehearsal, he was like, "Nah, dude, I'm going for this." And so it was brutal, and a long, tough day. And that's part of it, is like when you really work hard, like the long tracking shot, with the steady cam. I mean, we rehearsed that an entire day, and then it took us 9 takes to get it. And David had told me, they didn't expect to be able to get it. They thought they were going to have to stitch it together with CGI. But when we nailed it, when we freaking nailed it, and Stewie, the Steadicam operator, he played college soccer, so and this is all about athletic timing. Certainly musical timing and creative timing, but it's an athletic event because we're moving on really, really critical pacing, really critical marks that you can't put down. So when we got adjustments, like, okay, we need you 3 inches over when you get down to the sidewalk, and then we need you to do, we had to make those adjustments without any kind of reference, just our physical communication without words. So when we nailed it, when we nailed it, David came running across the set and gave me a big bear hug and goes, "Dude, we nailed it. It's like, so, I mean, I think if I think about it, there are going to be moments, moment upon moment of those kinds of experiences, from Halloween 18.
All right. So looks like that worked. Awesome. So now that I know how to do that, we can plug other video clips into here from time to time, which is awesome. Thanks, guys. Glad you guys enjoyed that. Byron's asking, besides Nick Castle and Robert England, James Reed Courtney, and Derek Mears are definitely on the bucket list. Yeah, to me, yeah, they're all awesome. But James, he's definitely just one of my favorite people. He's an awesome guy, and as you can see from that clip, he's just an amazing guy, and his perspective on everything. Well, now that I know that we can do that, if you guys haven't seen the first clip from the Halloween show, I do have it loaded into the studio here. I could run that now that I know that it worked. I wasn't gonna plan on doing that, but you guys let me know if you saw the first clip. Now again, part one of the whole interview is um, that's those two clips together is just the beginning of that. And then, like I said, the whole interview together is just an epic conversation. We talk about, a little bit about Halloween Kills, um, just a tiny bit about Halloween Ends. I mean, obviously no spoilers or anything, but there are some cool little nuggets in there, some things that he's not said before that I think you guys, well, I know you guys are gonna love when you see it. So again, that's just a little bit. But if you guys haven't seen the first clip that I premiered on the Halloween show, just let me know and I can run that in here. That one's about that length. I think just a little bit, maybe about a minute longer than the one I just played. But if you guys have all seen it, then that's fine. And of course, you could always watch it on episode 19 of the Halloween show. So again, that'll be the plan going forward for this interview. Wednesday, you'll get the full part one, including those clips and more. Then Friday's Halloween show, there'll be another preview clip of part two. And I'll plan to have something exclusive here for the live audience next Monday. And then we'll have part two out next Wednesday. And coincidentally, if you believe in coincidence anyway, we next Wednesday is when I'm interviewing the next person from the Halloween franchise that I'm interviewing. And you guys know I'm not going to say their name because I'm paranoid and superstitious and silly about that stuff. But let's see, it's scheduled. It's going to happen. It's somebody. It's somebody who's in Halloween '78, and it's somebody that I've never interviewed before. So I'm not gonna say any more than that. But if you were super super curious or just a super long time reader of Halloween Daily News, you could go back and look in the interview section and see everybody that I've interviewed in '78. And I can tell you it's not Jamie Lee Curtis, but and probably figured it out. But I'm not gonna say who it is until it's a done deal. But it's somebody who I've never interviewed, and it's going to be awesome. And it's going to be a Zoom interview again, just like I did with James. And so if this rollout with James' interview is successful, and you guys respond that you like this rollout and this schedule, then we'll probably do a similar thing for that person's interview. So lots of exciting things happening here at Halloween Daily News. And as I've said, there's going to be lots more to come. This is just the beginning. But this was a big step to do the video interview and also to present it here, because we are trying to grow this YouTube channel in ways that we never have before. Partly because a lot of the content that we historically would publish on this channel, like convention coverage, has been kind of halted, at least temporarily. And even the store walkthroughs, the seasonal stuff like that, has all been affected. But as we talked about, everything happens for a reason, synchronicity, all that stuff. So because of all that, partly because of all that, here I am, and here you guys are, and here we are connecting in new ways. So Byron doesn't use Zoom, had it but deleted it. Okay. Lawrence. Yes, Lawrence was asking if I thought the Halloween Kills might go streaming. We've talked a little bit about this before. I did ask James his thoughts on it, and I don't want to spoil what he says. I'm not going to tell you everything about the interview because obviously I want you to watch it. But my thoughts are along the lines, and I've said this before, I don't see it getting delayed. I could see a quicker window, a smaller theatrical window, a hypothetically even a really fast, like 1 week theatrical exclusivity deal, followed by immediately premium VOD on Halloween week, maybe. Um, Again, as I've said before, I just think that Universal and everybody, and James actually speaks on this himself, but I think that Universal and everybody involved knows the importance of releasing this movie around Halloween time. Um, Financially, it's never going to do better than it will there, but just for every reason, for every reason possible. So, so the short answer is, yeah. I mean, I could totally see it streaming earlier, um, on like a premium VOD service, like really soon after October 15th, possibly, if theaters are not more uh, allowed to fill more seats than they are right now, which it is possible that there will be, and but the question is still going to remain: when are people in mass numbers going to go back? Are they going to feel comfortable, even if they can, even if they're allowed to, in the regulations? And that's another story. I'm not going to speculate on that tonight at this moment, but yeah, I do think, in my opinion, this is just but just looking at the state of everything in Hollywood and the studios and all the decisions being made, sure, I could see it going streaming earlier than normal and doing a similar thing, maybe not quite the HBO Max Warner Brothers thing where it's theatrical and on HBO Max same day, but again, if the film opens October 15th, maybe 7 days later, it's available premium VOD for, what would that cost? 20-25 bucks or something? I don't know. I mean, but I could see that. Yeah, I could totally see that. All right. There was another little news item this week, other than my own interview with the man himself, but I think you guys probably saw this. I did do an article, but over the weekend, Mezco, who is out the gate and running with the Myers merch in 2021, just last month or just a few weeks ago, they announced a mega scale Myers figure, Halloween 2. And this weekend, during their virtual toys fair, because of course the actual in-person toy fair, like almost all in-person events, not happening right now. So Mezco, like Funko is doing, like a lot of these collectible manufacturers are doing, they are doing a virtual con, basically, where they can do some of their exclusives and their reveals and start taking pre-orders. And so this was revealed over the weekend. This is the Halloween 2 Michael Myers 112 collectible figure. And yeah, Mezco announced this on, I believe, Saturday. I think they announced it on Friday, actually. It was one of their very first reveals of the weekend. And the new figure, again, it's from Halloween 2, so technically it does celebrate this year's 40th anniversary of the film. We haven't seen packaging. I don't know if they're going to incorporate that 40th. Probably not, if I'm being honest. Probably not. But for us fans, we know it's part of the 40th anniversary of Halloween 2. And the 112 collective line, if you don't know, of course, like the name says, it is 1 to 12 scale figures. They've always got multiple points of articulation, highly detailed, fairly pricey, but not on like the Sideshow Collectibles side of pricey, but a little more pricey than your standard NECA figure, but still pretty affordable. And they come with various accessories, as you can see here. It already looks like this one's going to come with two interchangeable heads, one with the bleeding eyes, the blood tears, and they're typically packaged in a display friendly window box. Now, Mezco didn't announce any release date details yet, and just these two pictures. And as of yesterday, it was not up on their site for pre-order yet, but that might have changed since then. I'm not positive because I didn't check today. So what do you think? You guys gonna be picking up this new Mezco Myers 112 collective? I see Lawrence and Byron are working on some new sequel ideas. I see Part 4, Jason versus James Jude Courtney would be so cool to see on the big screen. Lawrence says there should be additional Halloween movies where Michael Myers tries to get Tommy Doyle and granddaughter Allison and the remaining of Lloyd's from Halloween 6. Yeah, Jamie Lloyd. Yeah, we've talked about that a lot, Lawrence, on here, and yeah, I mean, I've said many times when it comes to this franchise that it's the way it is now. It is officially horror's first, I believe, choose your own adventure franchise where you can watch that first film. I mean, technically, you could watch the first film and stop, and that's one timeline. And I could go through, but there's so many different timelines. You could watch the first film, stop, watch Halloween 3, stop, end of timeline. I mean, there's so many different variations, and I've said many times on these broadcasts that I embrace that because it's so unique and so different. So yeah, after this current timeline concludes, after Halloween ends, who knows what what could happen after that? We've talked on here, just speculated and uh, fan casted about possibly picking up various threads, various storylines, whether it's the Jamie Lloyd story or what have you, or a lot of people want to continue with the H2O or the Resurrection storyline. Um, there's all kinds of opportunities of where this could go. Um, or, if anything is going to just say, you know what, we're going to ignore it all again and do something, just start over again, it would be this franchise. I mean, let's be honest, it would be. So, yeah. Yeah, Byron says the figure looks cool. The blood tears looks legit. Yeah, the blood tears looks pretty awesome on there. Yeah, Mezco makes some amazing figures. So, yeah, I'll put that back up for just a second. But yeah, I love that it comes with the interchangeable heads. I mean, the non blood tears head mask looks almost like a Halloween 1, Halloween 78, but he does have the spruce green coveralls, it appears, which is screen accurate. So, yeah, I think that's going to look great. And again, I don't know what accessories, but I'm assuming it will be things like the scalpel, the syringe, I would imagine, probably some interchangeable hands. We'll have to wait and see. But so yeah, not too much else on the news front. Like I said, the big headline for us is James Jude Courtney, Michael Myers in the house, and that was still just a few days ago, and such a great way to kick off our video interview series. Yeah, a few things. Again, I'm not going to tell you everything that he said or even everything that we talked about because I want you to watch it. But we it was a pretty fairly wide ranging conversation. I know some things he might have covered it a bit in the past, but I think we went over quite a bit, and I did ask him his thoughts on this current state of theatrical versus streaming and so forth. And like I said, just some very interesting tidbits about kills and just a tiny bit maybe about ends, maybe if you're paying attention. But but again, that'll be this Wednesday when part one drops. So again, now that I know that that worked, it was just a little bit weird because like I said, I still couldn't hear the audio as it was playing live to you guys. But now that I know how to pipe in pre-recorded video, that's an exciting development that we all learned here together tonight. So now we can start incorporating that in the future broadcasts sometimes, and I can premiere certain uh, interview clips and so forth here, or even give you some flashback stuff because we've got some crazy archives from conventions past. We were talking about mentioned flashback weekend. We've got panels from that from 6 years ago and many years of footage and panel footage and costume contests for Mad Monster Party and just cosplay everywhere and some amazing stuff actually from the Halloween 40 Years of Terror event, which like I said, James and I, that's where we actually met in person for the first time, and after our interview 3 years ago. So who knows? We might start incorporating more of that type of stuff. Byron says Lola Stone from The Loved Ones versus Allison Nelson from Halloween 2018. I don't think I've seen The Loved Ones. Am I forgetting that one? I don't think I've seen that. Ken says my friend was saying there might be a Michael Myers TV series. I mean, we've speculated on what it could be if they were to do one here, and yeah, I mean, I've said that in a few years, once Halloween Ends concludes, and Malik and Trankis are looking at where to go with the franchise. I mean, TV is a different landscape than it used to be. It's kind of uh, a prestige way to present properties now is on TV, as opposed to a decade or more ago. It was not the case. Being on TV was thought of as less prestigious than cinema. But especially with streaming and the way things are now, and certain freedoms, and how everything is going streaming now anyway, with every company, every studio's got a plus now. So yeah, I mean, there's certainly nothing that's been announced and nothing that's officially in the works or anything. Um, I've not even heard any like what I don't any rumors that are even substantial about that, other than that. A few years ago, Malik Akkad did seem to. I think he was quoted in an article, if I remember correctly, saying that whereas a decade before that, he would have stopped making the movies before sending them direct to video. Now the landscape of TV is different, like I said, and I think even more so now in more recent years, and with theater business and box office, who knows where that's going to go here in the next few years. It's anything's possible. But we've talked about on here on some previous lives. I've talked about ideas of where I'd love to see it go, and I think some of you guys would agree. Maybe like a young Loomis setting it in Smith's Grove. Michael kept in the shadows, not really the focal point of the series, but always kind of looming and a presence. So yeah, I could see that. I could see a TV series happening, just like we talked about the game before last week. I talked about that a little bit. Nothing concrete or anything, but yeah, I think it's crazy that it hasn't happened already, but I do think things happen for a reason, and so maybe the delay in scheduling, pushing Halloween Kills back a year, pushing Halloween Ends production back a year. Then it all coming right up right after Halloween Ends. It's going to be the 45th anniversary of the original 78 film again, which and all the other related anniversaries that go with that. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to the game, I think it's, as I've said before, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And comics too. I mean, like I think I said that last week or the week before, but yeah, I mean, especially now that Carpenter and his wife, they have their comic publishing empire and Storm King Publishing, and I mean, how amazing would that be to do some new Halloween franchise comic books, even maybe set it in the current timeline. Or do like they did in those other comics and go back and find little niches in the other timelines that they could concentrate on and do in a serial way. And any of those comics, while we're on it, would make great storyboards for a possible TV show as well. So there's tons of ways to go. David says, great show, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Yeah, this is fun. Thank you guys all for being here. This has been fun. Like I said, I wasn't sure if that playing that clip would work on here, so that was a little dicey, but it worked, and so now we can do more of that as well. So that gets me excited on what we could premiere here in the future and how we could expand this show. Like I said, there's a number of interviews. My next one is scheduled for next week. That's definitely going to happen. But there's a number of interviews that I've got in the works. And again, I'm not going to jinx it by saying who, but there's a few people that are involved with Halloween Kills that the plan was originally to interview them last year, but of course that didn't happen for obvious reasons. And they and myself, we all want to wait a little bit closer to the actual release of the film so that they can talk a little more freely to me, if you know what I mean. So these are all things that are going to happen, and it's going to happen this year because the film's going to be released this year, and it's going to be awesome. And I've said before that maybe at some point we could bring in some actual live guests. So that is a very real possibility as well. Again, now that I'm doing Zoom interviews, but that would change the format again here slightly too, because in that case it would be Zoom, and then coming in to the OBS studio with Zoom, and then going in to the YouTube studio. So yeah, it just kind of melts my brain a little bit to think about it, but it's certainly doable and possible, and going to get easier the more that we incorporate the video interview footage here. But just knowing that we can premiere the pre-recorded stuff live right here, never before seen stuff like we did, that should be exciting. It is for me. It should be exciting for you. I hope it is for you guys. Because, I want you guys to enjoy this. I hope you're enjoying it. I mean, if you're not, I don't know why you're here, but hopefully you're enjoying it. So, all right. What did I miss here? Lawrence says, so the new Halloween movie will be streaming on like Netflix or Amazon because virus will be coming out sooner than later. I can't hardly wait. Well, I don't think it'll be streaming on Netflix necessarily sooner, like in Amazon, but it wouldn't be included in Prime right away anyway. It would be like the price of renting a brand new movie on like a streaming service like Vudu or like Amazon, but it just wouldn't be included in Prime or included in Netflix. I don't think. Again, this is just me speculating at this point on this, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think it's going to have its theatrical release in what theaters it can, and if anything, it might, like I said, be hit a premium service sooner than, certainly sooner than would be normal, which normally it would be, say, January of next year. It would hit premium for rental, and then a few weeks later, it would come out on physical, Blu-ray, DVD. Uh, so I could see all of that being sped up the time frame a little bit, especially as to the premium streaming. All right, all right. Thanks, guys. Thanks. I appreciate that, Sammy and Byron. I'm glad you guys enjoy this. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to make it fun and informative, and also just keep evolving, because if you guys have been watching, every week it changes a little bit, but just trying to keep it interesting and keep getting better, as far as on the tech side, because that's always a bit of a challenge, but I feel like we're making progress. So I appreciate the support and the encouragement, everybody. David says, as long as they don't shoot Myers into space. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't need to see Michael Myers in space. Um, I don't think they would go that route. I mean, do they? That's a good question though. What's Halloween like in space? I don't know. Do they celebrate Halloween in space? It's like, can they hear you scream in space? But Byron says I should interview Derek Mears. Yeah, I should. I should. I think I met Derek Mears one time at a con, just real quickly, kind of in passing. But yeah, I need to. I'd love to interview him. I loved him as Jason. Love that Jason film, the '09 Friday the 13th. I love it. It's one of my favorite Friday the 13th films. All right, did I miss any of you guys? I'm gonna try to scroll back. I don't think I missed too much. I hope I didn't miss you guys, but awesome. All right, I tell you guys what. I think what I'm going to do. I think what I'm going to do, because we're caught up on the news coverage at this time, since I know we can do this, I'm going to go ahead and run the other James Jude Courtney clip. That way, if there is anybody watching that hasn't watched the Halloween show yet, I'll save you the trouble. I'll sacrifice the view, and you can just watch it right here. And if you've already seen it, you can watch it again, or if you gotta go, I get it. But I'll still come on at the end, just to sign off and make sure that there's no other comments that need to be addressed or anything tonight. But so I will come on at the end. But I'm gonna go ahead and run that since that worked before. So if you haven't seen it, here it goes. This is actually literally the first 7 or 8 minutes of our conversation. So here we go. James Jude Courtney, thank you very much for talking to me again today. It is great to see you, and I just want to start off asking, how are you, and how have you been? And in the last 12 months or so, it's been a crazy time for everybody. So how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's really great to see you. It's really great to connect again, and especially since we we hit it off on the very first introduction, back in 2018. I mean, it's a special, man. So yeah, thanks, man. It's, the pandemic has been tough for everybody. And, so for me, it shut down conventions, shut down. We were supposed to shoot Halloween Ends. Halloween Kills was going to come out in October of 2020. Everything got, put on hold. But I find, in my career, I've been injured more than a few times. And I have discovered that when I'm, when I'm injured or I'm incapacitated in some way, the universe is saying, dude, sit down, shut up, and pay attention. So, I've used this opportunity to clean closets, both emotional, spiritual, and
Sure.
I'd go through my house and clean out stuff that I didn't want. And so there's been a real opportunity here to do some soul searching and growing, and also I think what it does, and I hope it does this for everybody, is has made me appreciate the beautiful things I do have in my life. Because, we are, no matter how much we struggle in this country, we are truly, truly blessed to be here, to, even at its worst, we have it so much better than other people. And so,
Sure.
around the world. And so I think, a gratitude attitude through this pandemic, and, the ability to reach out and help other people, to realize that we're all one, as a human race, a human species, that we're one country, that our communities are one community. And so I've seen a lot of giving. I've been a part of a lot of giving, a lot of helping, so it's not been lost. It's not been lost time, not by any means.
Yeah. 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 I agree. It's definitely, and I think that's one of the positives that did come out of everything last year is, and in the past 12 months, it's still going on, but like you said, a new appreciation for some of the things that I think a lot of us probably have taken for granted for too long.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I think, because when Ryan Freeman at Trancas and Ryan Turek from Blumhouse called me, and we talked about, like, hey, we're thinking of, postponing the release of Halloween Kills until 2021. And, my first response was, guys, I'm 100% behind it. First of all, we don't want to jeopardize the fans. And we know the fans love there would be so many fans who would love the film.
Sure.
And they'd go, damn the torpedoes, I'm going into the theater. And we just didn't know enough about the virus then. And so the anticipation will build. We know we made a damn good movie. I mean, just a damn good movie. So it's going to be worth the wait,
Awesome. Yeah. And obviously, a lot of fans disappointed in the delay, but I don't think, I certainly wasn't surprised when the announcement came, and I think a lot of, it's just added to the excitement at this point. I think this year is going to be just a monumental year when it does come out. Before we get more into Halloween, and one thing I reread our interview. It's been almost exactly 3 years since our first conversation in 2018, and y'all had pretty much just wrapped just a few weeks prior to that, and then your life has really, I think, kind of been a roller coaster since then. After 2018, after our interview in October, the next time when we met face to face for the first time was in Pasadena at the 40 Years of Terror convention. And then you spent the next year traveling the world, making convention appearances and meeting fans. And so I definitely want to catch up on some of that. But one thing going back, because we talked about your career and everything, but one thing I didn't ask in our first interview, not related to the Halloween franchise, but the holiday itself, was, did you celebrate Halloween as a kid at all? Were you big into that, or did you celebrate as a kid, the holiday itself, I mean?
Well, yeah, man. I mean, think of the age I grew up in. I was born in 1957. So in the early 1960s, I mean, I lived in a classic suburban neighborhood, and it was a safe neighborhood, and kids could roam the streets safely back then. And so the neighborhood was packed with kids trick-or-treating. And so Halloween was a huge thing for us. And I have a big family. I have 6 brothers, and so my mom has always been very active with the kids and helping us make costumes. And I mean, we didn't buy them, we made them. She made them. But she made her own dresses, and she made clothes. She's a very talented woman. And so it was huge. It was a huge thing for us. And I think, as I had shared with you, my dad you know, we had this classic sort of Saturday night or Friday nights. We used to watch a guy named Goulardi who did horror films, and my dad would say, he was a big dude. He'd sit with his big old arms, you know, around us. You know, we'd sit in front of the couch, not on the couch, in front of the couch, and watch the classic Universal horror films. And so, yeah, you know, I mean, Halloween definitely was, you know, something deeply, you know, ensconced in our family experience.
Awesome. And Sue always asks everybody that we interview, what is your favorite or was your favorite Halloween candy? Do you have a favorite Halloween candy, or just candy in general, I guess, but it all goes back to Halloween.
Yeah, you know, man, gosh, it's been so long, and I've been hitting that a lot. You know,
Yeah.
you know, I'll have to think about that, man. But I remember, you know, I do remember, because we'd all get there, we'd dump out our bags, and then, and you know, we'd separate things, and we were only allowed to eat a little bit that night.
Oh yeah, you couldn't OD on it at that night. Yep.
Yeah, my mom didn't want like wild maniacs running around the house. And, and honestly, you know, when growing up, we weren't allowed to have sugar. We were allowed to have sodas on Sundays. Like after church, my dad would go get a big mound of chipped ham and Swiss cheese and makes these these hot sandwiches, and we got to drink root beer. But the rest of the week, we never drank sodas. We didn't get candy. My mom made pies and cakes, but they were very low sugar. Like she was always really about, you know, keeping us healthy and strong. So Halloween was really special because it was really that, and Easter were the only times we got candy, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have to think about my favorite though, because you know, all of them were so doggone good.
All right. So there we go. Not quite as much about the franchise itself in that opening part, but I wanted to get the general Halloween stuff in there before I forgot and got distracted with all the Michael Myers stuff. But there was still a little bit in there if you caught it. So that's actually how we began the conversation. So anyway, that's the preview clip that we premiered on the Halloween show on Friday morning. Now you've seen 2 clips from the interview. That makes up probably still a little less than half of part 1 of the interview. And again, the plan currently, if everything goes as planned, will be part 1 will premiere here on the Halloween Daily News YouTube channel and at HalloweenDailyNews.com this Wednesday, which is February 24th, 2021. So, so hopefully you guys will all check that out. Then I'll plan to do another preview clip during the Halloween show on Friday, followed by another exclusive for you guys during next Monday's live, and then we'll wrap it up with the full part 2 on next Wednesday. And so, all right, everybody, that's what I got for this week. I think I'm caught up on everybody's comments. Sammy, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the interview. Yes, James is incredibly humble and just a great interview. Just a great guy just to talk to and just get his thoughts on just current events and stuff. We talked it close to an hour and a half, and the interview is going to be a little bit shorter than that because some of it was off the record, as I said, just kind of catching up a little bit. But yeah, he's a great guy, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy this interview. I hope you do, and like always, share these videos. Encourage your friends who love this franchise or just love Halloween in general to come join us. Um, we're growing a little bit each week, which is great, and I want to keep the momentum going, especially rolling into Halloween Kills this year. It's going to be amazing. So with you guys' help, we're just going to keep the momentum rolling, and then who knows who else we can get to stop in during these lives or during just here on the channel for maybe a quick Zoom interview. Um, we've got all kinds of potential guests out there. Like I said, some are definitely already in the works that I think you're going to be excited about. Others, are kind of on the wish list, but hey, depending on how things go and how the viewership goes, anything's possible. So, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notifications, turn that on, and hit the like button, all that stuff. Hit the share button, and leave a comment down below, even if it's just awesome interview or great episode or whatever. All that helps with the algorithms and keeps us going and everything. And plan to be here next Monday for our next live. It will be our first one of March. Just realized that it'll be Monday, March 1st. So Michael Myers Monday in March. So and I guess I'll go ahead and say we'll plan to have another world premiere exclusive clip from my latest interview with the one and only James Jude Courtney. So, all right, guys. Thank you once again. One more time. Happy Michael Myers Monday, everybody. All right, guys. I'm Matt Arts for Halloween Daily News. Thank you all for watching.